Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome to Brush Lettering Basics, class number 3. Tonight we are doing word play. Yep, word play. We've already practiced doing lots and lots of strokes, down strokes, entry strokes, up strokes. We've done circles and half circles. We've been practicing our letters. I hope you've been practicing your letters, because the more you practice your strokes and your letters, the quicker you are going to get to some funky wordplay. And really, that's what it's all about. You want to be able to label everything and do cool titles on your scrapbook pages, or, you know, address an envelope with some very cool writing. And that's what we're going to start tonight, is learning how to connect those letters into words so that you can be creating beautiful brush lettered pieces yourself, and just including a little bit of, fancy lettering in your everyday life, because you will start to do this once you can do this confidently. So I'm talking about just labeling things in your home that maybe you'd normally just scribble on, but now the front of that photo box actually looks kind of cute. Or, even something as simple, like I said, as an envelope can really make a big difference when you put some cool penmanship on it. So tonight is all about wordplay, but I do want to encourage you to keep practicing your strokes and keep practicing your letters, because these classes every week are meant to be your springboard, to get you jumping off and practicing as the week goes on. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. I've got books and books full of really, crummy writing. At the time, I thought, ooh, look at me, my thick downstroke. And I look back and go, wow, it's really come a long way. And then when I've had a bit of a break from it and I come back to it again, I'm like, ooh, it's feeling a little shaky on the way up there. That's normal. It's muscle memory. Like any other muscle you're working out, it's a little rough at first, and then it's, gets a little more flexible as you go. So keep up the practicing. Okay, hi to everyone tuning in. Where are you joining us from tonight? I always love hearing where you guys are tuning in from. I am in Kingston, Ontario, here at the Homemade Studios. I'd encourage you to check out, we'll put a link in the comments. We have a whole brush lettering collection that we've brought in for you guys, including some new white pens and a whole bunch of more advanced sets. So if you're loving your set and you want a bigger set that has some more colors and some additional pens, we've got the advanced lettering set. So if you didn't get the kit, this would be a great one to get. Also, we've got the watercolor set. It comes with a watercolor brush. And these Tombow pens, when you use them on watercolor paper for lettering, you can then add the watercolor brush and it'll fade out the sides. I can do a little demo on this. It's very, very cool. And then we've got lots of brush sets if you want to get some new colors in the big markers. These are lovely to work with. So check out homemade.ca for some extra pens. We're going to be doing a little bit with the white tonight too. And I just wanted to show you this brush pen. It's similar to the black one that you've got, but it's in white. So we'll get to that in a little bit when we get to our project. But the first thing we're going to do tonight is take out, if you got the kit, you can get your big book out, the Making Connections, the big spiral book. It's a hardcover book. This is in the kit. If anyone still wants a kit, Amanda, do we have any kits left? 1, 3?
2? Yeah.
Oh, she's saying 2. Okay. If anyone wants a kit, it's not too late. We've got 2, she said. Otherwise, we've got some bits and pieces of kits. Like there's a few extra of these books and like not a few extra of those. So 2 full kits, or you can get a couple of the odds and ends if you check it out. But if you don't have the kit, you can go to homemade.ca. And we've got under brush lettering some practice pages like this that you can download. They've got the lines on them, and you can be practicing along with us. Even if it's just with a regular old Bic pen, you can be thickening your downstrokes. Watch class 1 and 2 if you need to learn about thickening the downstrokes. Because tonight we are going on to words, and this book here is all about sentiments. It's all about greetings and sort of common sayings that you may use for lettering. And this book I liked because it wasn't just writing out the alphabet over and over. Instead, what it's got is a couple sheets of tracing paper, and then you've got your actual word that it's breaking down. And there's tons of greetings in here. So you can go through, like, congratulations it's a word that you are going to brush letter over and over and over and over, because once you can write this word in this way on the front of every single envelope, you go to a wedding, you go to an anniversary, you go to a bat mitzvah, this is what you're writing. And it looks so good when you do it with a pen, a brush pen, and you're able to do it in this way. But I want to talk to you a little bit about connecting your letters, because this is not like cursive, where with your, like, let's say we were doing congratulations, and let's say you were writing in your absolute best cursive that you possibly could, like CONGRA. You kind of just like keep going like that. And if I'm showing you like right close up, like it's nothing special here. It's just like regular handwriting, congratulations. And you kind of, when you're doing regular cursive, just keep on going. But when you're brush lettering, you are just like when you're practicing your letters, you're going to be doing each letter on their own and lifting your hand off the page. We're not trying to write a big long word like congratulations all in one fell swoop. We are writing C, O, N, G, right? Just like we do when we're practicing. So let's go on the lines here. Just as a bit of a, like, let's compare regular cursive, CONGRA. I always put D, but that's not right. It's T. So the pencil really doesn't lift off the page when you're just scribbling it down. Here, C, lifting up. O, lifting up. N, that's just the downstroke. Coming back up for the upstroke. So we're still just drawing those letters. In fact, we're actually just drawing the strokes. Just like we've been practicing. It's coming off the page a number of times. What am I doing? R-A-T-U. This is actually L-A. And this is T. All right, I'm spelling it wrong already, but you get what I'm saying. The whole point is that you're going along all in one fell swoop, not like you're taking your hand off the page. All right, so let's go to the first word. We're just going to start at the beginning with these sentiments, and it's best wishes. Now you go through and take a look. There's Mother's Day, Hanukkah, Halloween, graduation. So if there's any of these that you are wanting to write in the future and you're feeling a little unsure, come back to this book, because you've also got in the kit a whole bunch of this tracing paper that's going to allow you to practice that writing without ruining anything, with keeping your book intact. So there's practice sheets in here, and then there's extra practice sheets. So if we're starting with best wishes here, and I'm going to go ahead and use the best wishes, that the sheets that are in here first. This one, I could maybe use on like greetings in the front with my big pen and just practice tracing over it just for the feel. So you can see it's going skinny here. Coming up. What I'll tell you about tracing is that you have to resist the urge to keep going. You've got to lift your hand up. And don't worry if it goes a little off the edge. No one's going to know because it's going to come off there. Nice and light. I'll also warn you about tracing is that it prevents you from developing your own style. It may at the beginning help you get the flow of where to thicken, like to remember to go harder on your downstroke when you're still learning to draw the letters. But ultimately, when you are tracing, you're writing exactly like whoever this is writing. You know what I mean? And you're not really developing your own style. However, it is good to start somewhere. So we're going to start with a bit of tracing, and then we're going to move on to trying it ourselves. So let's go first one here. You can still see through it. Can we? Yeah, we can see it, all right? All right. So you'll notice I'm not going to trace over the starting one. I'm going to just trace over the actual word. But you'll notice on the top line, it has these breaks in the actual word. So see how we've got the B where you're starting, you're going around, and then this is its own stroke. So we've got our starting, we're coming up, finishing, that attachment stroke, like that entry stroke to the E. So it wants you to stop, lift your hand off the page, and start again. Again, if you were trying to write this all in one, by the time you got to ST, your wrist would be tired, it'd be shaking, you'd be off the line. You have to restart after each letter. And this is just going to be the habit that you're going to get into now. But we're best to call it out right at the get-go so that you start doing it. Okay, so let's try. We're going to start with that loop and going down. Starting inside the thick, remember? Thin and then thickening the downstroke. Light and then thickening the downstroke. And then remember, it wants that entry stroke here. So we're going to entry stroke. And then we're going to write that B, and we're going, that thickness is going to cover up that entry. And then the exit stroke, and then we're going to pick it up again on the loop for the S and thicken the downstroke. Entry stroke, kind of through the S and over. And then we're going to hide that entry stroke, like where we got out of it, in the thickness of the T. Best. And then wishes. All right, we're starting on the flourish, coming up, down, up, right off the page. Down, up, we're ending with a flourish, off the page. Entry stroke, down, up, down, and then off the page. The more you practice coming off the page and picking up with your next entry stroke, the smoother your writing is going to be. It's very counterintuitive to regular cursive. Remember, we're not doing regular cursive. We're drawing the letters and we're connecting them together. Always thickening the downstroke. All right, let's do it one more time. And then underneath, let's try doing it on our own. We'll practice tracing one more time. Thickening. If you haven't taken your hand off of the page and you've done more than one stroke, you're rushing. So that's just the flourish going into the downstroke and my exit stroke. That's as much as you'd want to do. If I were to keep going, by the time I got to here, I would have run it, like my hand would be curling. I wouldn't be able to like get there. So just keep that in mind. It's not you. It's that it requires you to take this break. Okay. All right, I'm going to try it underneath it. Now this is going to be where you're going to go, oh, mine doesn't really look like the one I just traced out. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to start developing your own style too. And trying to make it look just like the one that you did is only probably going to leave you disappointed. Really, what we're trying to do is just get in the habit of thickening the downstroke and joining the words together. Your own style is going to come out. Like, I really like making A's a little bit shorter, and I really like making the R, the top of the R, go way up over whatever letter it just follows. You're going to develop a style too. And tracing only gets you so far. So we're doing it to develop a bit of muscle memory, but then we're abandoning it, and then we're going to go for it. Okay? All right, so let's do a little best wishes down here ourselves. I'm going to still use the same flourish. I'm going to try to make it look like that, but I'm not beating myself up if it's not completely the same. So we started up and over. See, already I put my B with that coming up, and they have a nice neat, but that's fine. I can make it work. E. Oh, I'm already finding it very difficult to try to do it like them. You know what? Like, I'm finding it difficult to do it like them and not to do it like I just would normally do it. So I say, if you're finding it difficult to match it up, don't. Do it the way you would want to do it. Maybe start the word with that inspiration and then see where the drawing takes you. If your S doesn't end up with a loop at the top and it's closed, whatever, that's fine. It's better that your strokes are even, consistent, and not wiggly than it being looking just like the tracing. Now, what the tracing is also helping with is letter spacing, because letter spacing is really going to give away super amateur and much more practiced, well-practiced lettering. If you have spacing that's a little like, let me just grab let's use this. So let's do a word here. Let's just do the word practice, okay? It's already here, it just made me think of it. So let's have a little fun with it. P, R, are you guys seeing this? Yeah. A, C, and then look at, and then, so this is quite smushed together, and this is very far apart. See what I mean? We're aiming for consistent spacing. Even if your letter is way larger, it's still consistently spaced. We've still got the same amount of air between the word, or between the letters. If your letters are very smushed together, let's try another one with a smaller pen this time in our practice book. Let's try the word book. We kind of go a little too far over on the O, and then we kind of crowd the K. No, this isn't looking like a super, it looks odd. Too much space, not enough space. You're also noticing that the K here, it's lower than the flourish on the B. These should be, like, let's do it more consistently now and compare. So if I go book, and am a little bit more consistent. Even this is not totally consistent because look at the two O's here. This one's a little fatter than this one's a little skinnier. That's on me. That's just practice. You know what I mean? But you can tell when you point it out, somebody will be like, oh, nice lettering. But when you're really combing it out, I also think the height on the K here should be a little more even to the height on the hump of the B here. So if you're really wanting to dissect your words, this is the kind of things that you can be looking for. And I see it in my own, even though I'm, teaching you guys this. I see it in my own. You can be dissecting your own. You've got notebooks in the kit that you can be starting to do some different kinds of word art with. And then just it doesn't have to go anywhere. You don't have to frame every piece, not at all. Instead, dissect how it's looking. Try it with a different pen. Are you having more success with your spacing with the bigger pen? Sometimes the bigger pens help at the beginning. So let's try book again. Can we get the consistency on the O's? Can they look a little? Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Just keep practicing. If you know what to look for, then you can look at your words and start combing them out a bit more. All right, let's try another one. We'll skip up to, let's just, not thinking of you. I like the anniversary. I saw that one. Let's do anniversary. All right, small pen again. If you want to trace over the beginning, you can. It will force you to know when to come up off the page. So if you're struggling to come up off the page, then trace over the first word and come up off the page every time that stroke breaks. Up, off. And we're not even connecting the actual. You'll notice, look at this. This is not a complete N. It's a downstroke, and then it's a descender and an entry and a descender, like a downstroke. It's just when you're coming up off the page. And so it allows you to kind of plan out where you're going. Even the Y, it's not even connected. Doesn't even look like the word. But knowing when to pull your hand off the page is, as important as the stroke. So now let's connect everything. And you'll notice how slow I'm writing. This is not like cursive, where you're just sketching it down and barreling through. This is much more like drawing. Okay, let's try another one. Birthday, that's going to be big. You guys are going to write birthday a lot. All right, let's do the top one where we practice taking our hand off. So we got that first flourish stroke. So now it's starting its H from the middle here. Sometimes I tend to flourish the H's and have them come way out. But here they're just starting and then hiding the starting point in the thickness of the downstroke. Same with the back of the D. And when you break it down like that, where it's, sorry, looks like Bertoloni or something, I don't know. But when you break it down like that, that's how many hand lifts are coming off the page. So just remember that if your words are looking a little inconsistent, you probably need to be bringing your hand off the page more often than you are in between each stroke. So I'm tracing it out now. The slower, the better. And then have a bit of fun down here and see if you can develop your own style. Use it as a starting off point. Try to be consistent with your spacing. And just have a little bit of fun with it. Okay, now we can trace words. I mean, we've got like tons and tons of words in here. We could be doing this all night. I'm going to let you pick your words, trace them out, practice lifting that pen off the page. And that way, that muscle memory is still developing, lots of thickening the downstrokes, nice and light on the upstrokes. And then you're going to be able to consistently be writing words in this new way. And really, I shouldn't even say writing words. I should say drawing words, because that really is what we're doing. Okay, that's basically the lesson. Lifting your hand off the page to connect those letters together. Keep practicing. If you got the kit, you've got a couple of fun things that you can do to practice your first words, as opposed to doing like a whole, word art thing at the very beginning. But just labeling things is honestly probably the thing that you'll do the most often. And so I've included in the kits a few different labels for you guys to practice with. You also in the kit got the jars with the spoons, which are perfect for labeling. Like, if you have Epsom salts or something that you want to, put by the bathtub, or regular salt in the kitchen. Maybe you have hot chocolate for this, something with a spoon. I don't know. What do you think, Amanda? Yeah, any of those. Sugar. Yeah, just sugar. Sure. Why not? I kind of like the smaller chalkboard looking labels for the jars. These ones are fine too, but they're a bit large for the jars. I kind of like these ones for the front of a box, like a photo box, or the front of a book, like a photo album. Something like that you want to label that's a little bit larger, something that you want to label that's a little bit smaller. But hey, when you get these kinds of labels, you'll be able to apply brush lettering to them. You won't just be labeling these in any old way. So let's do a couple big ones and a couple small ones, and we'll get them on our jar, and it'll be super, super cute. So I'd recommend using your large Tombow pens for larger labels like this. And then the small, if you have smaller labels, you can use the small brush lettering pen, or you can use, I got this new pack and I put them online because Tombow makes such great stuff. So this is white for dark paper. It's white ink. And so it's kind of fun. And so we can be doing that on here. Or in the kit, you got the white jelly roll pen. Perfect if you're still kind of struggling with your strokes, but you want to be trying to label some things. We can, again, be thickening our downstroke with some foligraphy. So I'll do both on those. And I'll do the thick ones on here. So let's do one that's just says photos on here first. Think about how long your word's going to be. You don't want to run out of space. The other thing you can do, if you're really, doing something super important and you don't want to risk it, is to make sure you put you can put a pencil line down. The odd time I've put the finishing letter here and the starting letter here, and then filled in the middle. If I was really concerned, if I kept like going over, like I'm really not getting my spacing, you could do something like that. So if I'm going to put an S here, the only thing is you have to be sure that you're going to connect it at the end. So if I'm putting my S here and my P here, oh, this is wanting to like lift. Maybe this is better with a Sharpie. Yeah. Well, I'm going to do it for now, just because we've started. Just to show you the technique. H. And then I kind of know how much space I have between like O, T, O, and then connecting it. That way, it always is going to fit. Okay. These you may have to use a Sharpie if it's got like kind of a wax coating on it here, but let it dry and it will it'll dry, but just don't smudge it until it does. Let me try it with this one and see if we get the same. Oh, it's a bit better with this one. These are big water-based markers, so. And then let's do the S. A little off on the spacing here. It's all right. What else can we label with this big one? Amanda, do we need anything labeled downstairs? Could be like keepsakes. Yeah. Could be, what else do I, like I have like a cupboard that has like all our storage manuals. Mm-hmm. It could be your Christmas decorations, mm-hmm. Whatever you want to label. I'll leave it to you to kind of put some cool writing on it. For the jars and the black, let's try it out. If you're still practicing and want to label something but don't trust your brush lettering yet, remember, foligraphy is always good. Let's put a little pencil line down here. You don't even have to have a real ruler. Put a little pencil line down. We can always erase it at the end. I'm sure you can't even see it. It's barely even like visible on here, the pencil line. See it? Yeah. But you can erase it at the end. But just to give yourself a landing point. So if we're doing sugar, I can move this. Is it better on the side? Let's see. Maybe. Mm-hmm. So just a regular written S, and we're going to just color in that downstroke. Anywhere your pen naturally goes down, you're going to thicken. I'm going to do these all in the same size sort of capital letters. So downstroke is on this side. So we'll just thicken that up. Thinner on this side. Maybe the light's too much on there. Yep. There we go. Yeah. Thicken the downstroke. And sometimes I cheat a little. If I've gone a little too, let me show you. If I've gone a little too far over, like I've spaced out my word a little too much, thicken the back side of it so it fills in some of that space rather than the inside. That's going to help you with your spacing a little bit. If you get to the end of like the line here and it's like, oh, it's not quite centered, put a heart. It really does help with the spacing, and it looks intentional. So you can thicken the back side of your downstroke or the inside of your downstroke if you put it too close together. So here I kind of went down below the line a little bit. In that case, you could do something like put a line, I'll show you at the end, put a line everywhere except for right there, like it was meant to dip down. These are ways that you can hide a whole myriad of evils. So for example, if the A really came too far down, we could do something like this. And then have this come right down. Like it's kind of underlining it. Like it was meant to be the whole time. You know, you can have some fun with this. It's meant to be a drawing. You want to put a little heart at the end, if that helps with your spacing. Why not? Especially if it's just for you, you know. Maybe we want to do tea, like tea bags. And we could do it very, very big. Let's try the other white marker this time. This one goes on kind of clear and then whitens as it dries. So let's try something. And you'll notice, like you can hardly even see it. It whitens as it dries. So it gets whiter and whiter as it goes. Yeah. Yeah. And it, as opposed to the other white marker, has that same nib as the black pen. So it's much easier to just do your downstroke just like you've been practicing. And you'll just see that start to appear in white. Yeah, magic, Amanda said. As you go across. What could be our third one? With a spoon, salt. Salt, salt, salt. And have a little fun with the variation on the size. I'll show you this one here. You'll see it kind of appearing. See, the tea is now dried white. These look very chalky. It looks as though it's done in chalk. It's very cool, although you'd never be able to get that sort of like variation between thick and thin with chalk. You really have to write it in. But you could label these with chalk and then dust it off. That'd be cool too. And you can even thicken the downstroke a little bit more. You see with the Jelly Roll pen, it looks more like pen, a little less like chalk. These ones look very much like chalk. It's kind of cool. And then you can just peel this right off. Already is sticky. And get it right on your jar. Some of you, will remember we made similar things in our last Cricut event, but we let the Cricut do the writing and the cutting. So here we can use our own writing. But sure, you could get the Cricut to cut out all kinds of labels like this for you. You can get the Cricut to write it, or you can use your own writing. I love labeling these little jars. These ones are easy. They pull right back off. So easy. Cute. There we go. Cute, quick, easy project with your own writing. Man, we kind of whipped through that tonight. And I think it's because you're getting the foundation. You know about the downstrokes and thickening them and lightening your upstrokes. It's just a matter of repeating it. And now that we're putting the letters together to make words, you're going to be able to start making these very, very quickly, because brush lettering does not take very long at all. Yes, you're writing slowly, but the projects like this, you can be labeling all of your Christmas decorations, all of your fabric colored bins, with great writing. And if you're looking for some extra colors, we've brought some in the Tombow Dual Brush, my favorite colored pens. We've even got the watercolor set that comes with a water brush. I did say I'd demo that, but I didn't actually pull any watercolor paper. Maybe I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week with the watercolor if you guys are interested in seeing it. Because we don't have this in the kit, not everyone, but I know you guys do have some watercolor stuff. So next week we'll do a little demo on the watercolor set. But any of these can be used with your watercolor pens because they are water-based, which means if you lay them down onto watercolor paper, you can pull that color out. If you lay it, make yourself a little palette, you can pick it up with your water brush and use it as paint. They're beautiful, beautiful pens for that. And of course, you can write with them just as we have been this whole series. So that's it for tonight, everyone. I hope you will keep practicing and getting those letters together. I want to see some words this week posted in the homemade group. Don't be shy and don't feel like, oh, I can't post that. If you feel proud of it, post it. If you feel like you got a laugh from it, post it. We love seeing it. And it doesn't matter whether it's perfect, where you're starting from. We're all just beginning. And even me, I'm going through this too. And oh, the spacing's a little off on that one. Or, oh, my O's need to be a little more consistent. You're always practicing. It's knowing what to look for. So this week we are practicing taking our hand off the page in between those strokes, not just in between the letters. Sometimes two letters will come together if it's one stroke, but definitely lifting your hand off the page, even in the middle of words, unlike regular cursive. And then have a little bit of fun. And if you got the kit, you can try labeling up some jars and see how you do. You can always peel it off and try again. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time.